This is Jose Merino, Editor-in-Chief of the Neurology family of journals. The Neurology Podcast provides practical information to neurologists and other clinicians to help them provide better care for their patients. Thanks for listening and have a great week.
Hi, it's Stacey Clardy, your Neurology Podcast and Neurology Minute Daily Briefing Editor. Today, we have a special episode. It's on a topic we've all been thinking about for a while on the Neurology Podcast team. We're going to talk about AI, and specifically how it's shaping everything we do, including podcasts. When the Neurology Podcast first started back in 2007, the world sounded different, right? We listened on iPods with click wheels and attached little white earbuds. Now we listen on smartphones or home devices or in smart cars. And through all of that change, one thing hasn't and never will change, and that's the Neurology Podcast, the essence of it. Our promises to you, our mission to deliver relevant information that makes us all better at what we do. The podcast has always been made by real neurologists, neuroscientists, clinicians, the people who take care of patients, who teach, and who are actually performing the research that we discuss and that impacts our patients. We're always speaking directly to you from that experience, whether you're, commuting home after clinic or walking your dog after a long day. In the year 2025, more than 20% of all new podcast episodes contain some portion of AI-generated voice content. And the prediction is by 2028, that number will exceed half of all available podcast content. Also, over 40% of images and 30% of the videos that you see online already show AI alteration or are fully AI-generated. AI systems like ChatGPT and competitors have grown from 0 to hundreds of millions of monthly users in just the past 3 years. The competitors you might know, like Claude, Grok, Gemini, all of them, they are changing how we write, record, and even how we define words like creation and authorship. So you might be thinking, oh, no problem, I can pick out this sort of artificial manipulation. And maybe we can, today anyway, but probably less and less so in the months and years to come. So don't just believe me, let's give it a try. I did a little bit of a demonstration for you. So before we launch into this demo, first and foremost, please remember this. The Neurology Podcast will always remain your source for what's real and, of course, what's relevant. And you are always going to get authentic voices of your colleagues, the neurologists and scientists you know, talking to you, with you, the real people you bump into in the hall or at conferences, the very same people who, like you, are working to better understand the brain, to take care of patients, and make tomorrow have better brain health for everyone. So now that we've got that clear, let's have a little demo of what's going on out there, because knowledge is power, right? So I'm no tech genius, and what I did was just a little bit of an internet search. I'm also pretty thrifty, so I was willing to invest a grand total of $11 into our little experiment here. I had to sign up to a subscription for 1 month to an AI voice generator. So here's what I came up with. This AI voice cloning program used only publicly available recordings of my voice. So I fed it old Neurology Podcast episodes and old Neurology Minute Daily Briefings. I actually kind of wanted to see if it would mix things up, because on the podcast, it was my voice and other people's voice. I was trying to trick it. It didn't work. And so I fed it a bunch of those. And then it allowed me to upload one article. So to keep myself out of trouble here, I uploaded an article that I'm an author on. And it's related to my role as the principal investigator of the Extinguish trial, which is a currently enrolling clinical trial testing inebilizumab for the treatment of NMDA receptor encephalitis. So again, I fed the online AI voice cloning program one single publication, and this was recently published in Neurology Open Access. If you want to look it up, it's the Extinguish trial methods paper. So using my voice samples and that one paper, I told it to generate a podcast. And it did. It generated an entire podcast, more than 10 minutes long, in my voice, without me recording a single word. So I shortened it down. You're going to listen to an excerpt. It's about 2 minutes long. I want you to have a listen. And again, remember, I didn't record this, so I want you to see if you can tell. The Extinguish trial for NMDA receptor encephalitis is ongoing and needs your help, the help of the entire neurology community, to achieve the ambitious goal of understanding how we should best treat patients with NMDA receptor encephalitis. The Extinguish trial is currently enrolling and aims to recruit over 100 participants across the United States and Europe. These participants all receive multiple standard first-line immunotherapies, intravenous immune globulin, plasma exchange, and IV methylprednisolone, before being randomly assigned to either receive inebilizumab, a humanized anti-CD19, or a placebo, and then all participants then receive extra IVIG at day 21 and can also go on to receive rescue therapies in addition afterward. This approach allows researchers to clearly determine the additional benefit of inebilizumab beyond current standard treatments, all while ensuring all participants receive and have access to multiple immunomodulatory treatments throughout the trial. Inebilizumab has been approved to treat other antibody-mediated autoimmune neurologic conditions such as NMOSD and myasthenia gravis. The potential impact of the Extinguish trial on patient care, combined with the comprehensive nature of the research, makes this trial a crucial milestone in the field of autoimmune encephalitis. But it can only be successful with the help of every single clinician seeing and diagnosing new patients with NMDAR encephalitis. We owe every patient the opportunity to participate. Knowledge is power for NMD. Patients and their loved ones, and it is important that we provide them with knowledge of ongoing trials and the opportunity to participate as a standard component of our approach to informed decision-making, especially given that there are no rigorously studied or approved treatments for NMDA receptor encephalitis. But NMDA receptor encephalitis is rare and strikes without warning. So we need your help to identify these patients quickly, to let them know about the opportunity to enroll in the Extinguish trial. To find out if your patient is eligible to participate in the trial, say search Extinguish trial on clinicaltrials.gov or call the Extinguish trial hotline at 8444-BRAIN-5. That's 8444-BRAIN-5. The National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke, NINDS, has thrown its support behind this trial, underlining its importance in the field of neurological research. The age range for participation is particularly noteworthy, including both adults and adolescents, aged 12 and older. The Extinguish trial marks a pivotal opportunity for the field in both pediatric and adult patients alike, because currently there are no approved treatments for this condition, leaving doctors to rely on various experimental approaches. The absence of standardized treatment protocols has led to inconsistent care approaches based on anecdotal or lower quality data across different medical facilities, making this trial's potential impact even more crucial. Okay, I'm back. The real me, I'm back. So to review, that segment you just heard was not me. It was machine generated for $11 on my clunky old laptop. The point is, AI is becoming remarkably capable and realistic, and it's useful. Honestly, in most cases, it can help us summarize papers, analyze data sets, even create educational materials. And if you haven't played around with it, seriously, one of these AI programs yet, you really should. It's our world now. And these tools can be incredibly useful, especially if we stay in the guardrails. But can I share a few things that I've learned from this little experiment we just did and also from me playing around? I now only use peer-reviewed sources when I am looking up information for me to learn from or to share with patients. I am just not savvy enough to sort out the rest. So if I'm talking about a clinical trial, I only go to clinicaltrials.gov. If it's a publication, I go to PubMed. The same goes for podcasts. I'm preaching to the choir here a little bit, right? But I need to know that they are the real voices of people who I know, and I can clearly reference the papers that they're talking about. And, actually this whole audio experiment actually has me reconsidering how I'm going to edit upcoming podcast episodes. I've always been really compulsive about taking out those filler words we all use, the ums, the okay, things like that, or even minor misspeaks, a little clearing of the throat. But now I'm wondering if they might help reassure you that yes, we are still 100% real. I'm not sure, so stay tuned on that, or feel free to give me your feedback. I'm still thinking about how to do that. I really do love to make us all sound just precise and eloquent, but it's undeniable that the synthetic speech often misses the natural pauses in human emotion that come about in real conversation. So I'm not sure, work in progress. One other thing that doing this reminded me to get done, and that was I reached out to my family, especially my older family members, to remind them to never trust that my voice is my voice on the phone if something seems off. I suggest you do the same and come up with some sort of code or plan for your family members that would allow them to pick up on a scam call, because these do happen. I have heard about this a lot. People I know have had this happen where their voice was cloned and was used to threaten or extort people they love. So a quick reminder to do that, not related to neurology, but while I was thinking of it, I thought I'd bring it up. So back to AI. I do like using AI to also expose me to summaries and sources of opposing points of view, ones that I'm not exposed to in the bubble of my everyday life. And let's face it, that's actually a really important thing to do in divisive times. So that's another thing that I've enjoyed about AI. But even doing that more and more every day, what I've noticed is that AI makes me crave and seek out what we and our patients need most, what humans have always needed, right? And that's genuine connection, real conversations, real empathy. That's what heals, right? And I suppose I've said all that just to tell you that the Neurology Podcast will remain your source, that little bug in your ear for what's real and what's relevant. It will be the authentic voices of neurologists and scientists who devote their lives to understanding the brain and the impact it has on all of us. If we were to ever use any component of AI in future recordings or in any capacity in the coming years, we will tell you. Because I can't predict the future, and it's kind of unreasonable to think at some point it might not be good and it might be able to preserve the genuine aspect, right? I don't know. But what I do know is we will always tell you. And for today, I'm Stacey Clardy, the real me, and I thank you for listening and for staying real. This is Stacey Clardy, your podcast editor. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please take a few moments to subscribe, rate, and review the Neurology Podcast through Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. And remember, you can always head to neurology.org/podcast for our full list of past episodes. Or you can also search by keyword in your podcast app for any neurology-specific topics you want to learn about.